Okay, guys, welcome back. So a little add-on for you. So we're not gonna put ads on this one. I did the video for today last night actually because there's something about the nighttime that usually that's when my best ideas come. I'm absolutely useless to anyone creativity-wise from the time the sun rises to the time the sun sets. I don't know why, but I am. And the thing is, I did that for Jesus and Loki. And I've actually, if you like that, if you go on Patreon in your Patreon, dig, and you will find something with Jesus. I'm sorry, I never tag anything. I know, I should, but I never do. Um, and it's a idea that's come to me before, and it's come to me over the years of, Jesus and Loki on this trip. And the idea that as it's sold to Loki, because Loki's kind of the one that gets hoodwinked here, is that they're going to go across, they are going to go across the U.S. and they're going to learn about each other, right? And it's 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 this idea where Loki's like, aha, I'm gonna get this backwards, wet behind the ears yokel, and I'm really gonna show him something. Because, in this universe, for it to make sense, he really hasn't met or worked with Jesus very much. For it to make sense, it has to be how it is. And Jesus has been spending 2,000 years doing what he did amongst all the people that, the church excludes. And so he's pretty wild when he shows up. And it's this the wild Jesus, the wild free Jesus that's out among the people and back to the church and taking care of all the wild ones is the one that shows up. It's not the church Jesus, it's certainly not the Roman Catholic Jesus, it's not suffering Jesus, it's wild Jesus. And wild Jesus shows up and just drags poor Loki. And there will be, if it would go on, like say it would go on, there would be times when Loki would definitely spring some stuff, but it would mainly be wild Jesus dragging Loki around. And um they both feel like they're pushing for it. Like I can see scenes in my head of like scenes of them stopping and eating because I don't know, like every time I write like say a fan fiction or a fiction, it always revolves around food. And it's not just hey, she's fat. That's what it revolves around food. It's everybody needs a device when they write. And mine is eating. Mine is eating. Like most of the time a character is eating or drinking or something or they're stopping for it or something else. It's just kind of like a security blanket that okay, they're heading towards food or they're having food. I'm good. Here's my security blanket. I can write the rest of the scene. And it's one of those things we like, right? You'll see movies where the actor is ever and always smoking or drinking or eating or something. It doesn't even make sense a lot of the time, but that's kind of their security blanket. And they can be a great actor or actress, but they need that. And we've all seen movies where they do that. They go from diner to diner to diner to snack to gas station to diner to diner. And it's kind of, I think it's kind of like it's our fantasy. We'd all love to kind of live in that world where that's life, going from one meal to the next, and there's no bills and there's no responsibility. So it is definitely a fantasy thing. And it's also a thing of, it's kind of like it feels like the two of them are pushing me to like go, write the next scene, write the next scene, because if you haven't seen it, I'll over on the tab yet. There is in community tab. There is a first kind of little push, that they gave me the spark last night. And what I used to do when I used to sit down to write fan fiction is I would write the equivalency on whatever program I was using of about 10 pages. Now, I write much shorter when I write here just because I don't know how easy it is for you guys to read longer stuff. But I can already see the next scene. And maybe that would be it. I don't know. But they're kind of pushing, and I'm like, I know the gods are up to something. I know the gods are up to something. Whether they want me to just cut loose with stuff, or they want to have this up. I don't know. But it's been interesting because as I go back and I listen to progressive Christians and everything, I'm noticing there's zero, absolutely zero that say, yeah, sure, Jesus would hang out with pagans and, Jesus would be over here working with Loki. I'm like, I'm it. I'm it. I'm it. If I want to hear about Jesus working with pagans and Loki, I'm it. I'm the one. I'm the only one standing, apparently. And I'm like, this is hard because I have questions and I need to, go chat with someone, but I am it. And so I'm like, it seems like that fiction, whether it ever I ever write anymore or what, is kind of like their answer of, let them lead. Definitely let Jesus lead on this thing because Loki often, with the other gods I've noticed, he kind of takes a back seat and just lets stuff unfold. If he needs to tweak, he does, but he often takes a back seat. It's not he's weaker or submissive or anything. He's just really chilling. He'll take a back seat, and if Jesus wants to make crazy town out of, like, say, a story or something, he would let him do it because as long as it's fun, as long as you're happy, that's all they want. And that's what he's trying to move me towards. That's what he's trying to move the channel towards. If he could click his fingers and have me, suddenly in Marvel costume, he would, you know. He wants the channel more fun. He wants the channel more vibrant. And he's like, this is exactly what people need. He said, you're not the only one that, still wants this relationship over here with Jesus, and yet you're here with Loki, and yet 80 other gods from all over the world and God, Kami and Wudon Loa and everyone else are coming in. He said, you're not the only one. And I think the biggest worry pagans have now is, did I come up with that on my own? And I did, because I came up with it before I ever saw any of Gaiman's writings, or is it just pop culture nonsense? For me, at least, I know, long before I saw Gaiman, I came up with that idea on my own because the gods were all talking to me. But, that's one of those things. Why are we letting the atheists have all the best fun with all the best toys and do all the best stuff with our gods? I don't like a lot of it, but you know what I mean. Why do we let the atheists be the ones that do this? Why don't we, the people that actually believe in these gods, do this? Of how do we get these gods to not get along? Because the gods get along. How do we get ourselves to the place where we're okay with them getting along? Where we don't see Jesus walk into a room and go into some kind of shock because we've never gotten over how the church treated us, or we don't see Jesus, Loki, and Thor having, I don't know, a snowball fight and don't freak out, or, any other three random gods. I think we have to get to the place where we fix inside of us, each one of us fix our inner theology, and just get to the point where we're like, well, these are the gods that are in my life. And, the gods that were here yesterday might literally not be here today, and it might be a different set. And we have to get used to that, I think. And then just kind of tweak our theology around that of like, okay, I'm not quite getting my way on this, and da 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 da. And also, there would be something in there too that would address, prosperity gospel is pretty, endemic, at this point. And, I think there are even people that preach it that don't realize they preach it because they're like, oh, I had this idea and I started doing cartoon series, or I had this idea and I wrote a book. And, we don't know their finances, but they seem fine to us. So, I think there's this idea that if we've got it right, the gods will hand us something. If we've got it right, they'll hand us books or comics or something, and it will just flow for us. And I've never hit that myself, so I'm like, what am I doing wrong over here? And then I'm like, well, maybe that's not for everyone. Maybe, the lucky few have to say, yeah, I'm one of the lucky few. If you're not writing, blogs, or you're not doing a channel, or you're not doing, I am doing a channel, but you know what I mean. I'm not like one of the big channels. Um, if you're not writing comics and like selling them on stuff, or you're not doing this other stuff, it doesn't mean that you're not doing it right. It's just there are, relatively few people that are going to end up doing that. And I think that's what I'm working on now, because I'm like, well, I do this channel, but I've never written a book. I've never done cartoons or anything because I can't draw. I've never done a movie. I've never done any of this stuff that, never really had a, successful online shop and made candles or something. So for me, tweaking my theology, I have to get to the point where I'm like, yeah, I don't have any of this stuff, but and I'm not quite okay with it yet, but I have to get to the point of okay, I have to get to the point of that's actually the vast majority of us. I think, when I came into Wicca, everybody was instant priest or priestess, just about. Because you went away from, whatever your religion was before and having a priest in between to interacting directly with the gods. Which, we never thought of, but you do every night in prayer, provided you're still like Christian or something. You interact directly with your God that way, but church would like you to not think about that because you might start asking questions. And, we went from that to becoming priestesses or priests or whatever we thought we were. And I think that the Wicca idea of instant priest or priestess has been replaced with instant financial success. That is now the hallmark of being a pagan or finding your good theology and belief system is that we feel that when you have done the right thing and you have put the right combination of words and gods together, you will have that book deal. You will have that podcast. You will have 1,000 patrons who just throw money at you. You won't have to pick up the tip jar every so often to shake it in people's faces. I think that's what most of us have to get over because we're like, I'm doing all the right things. At least I know I am, but I don't have that book deal. I'm not traveling around the world on my channel. I'm not, because we see all these other people getting stuff, and we're like, well, what am I doing wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not, getting that book deal? Why didn't I just suddenly start writing cartoons or doing music or start preaching in tents or something? Because pagans have flavors of everything. And I think we have to realize that for the vast majority of us, we're doing nothing wrong. It's just that's just not going to be our thing. And believe me, I've sat down for many years, tried to write that book, tried to. Was I being called to song? Was I being called to cartoons? Was I being called to? And I'm like, I just don't feel called to anything, man. This is my gig. This is it. But I think we have to get past that idea now that we have that if the gods have called you, you will be blessed financially and abundantly. It's a matter of finding the magic combination of gods, the magic words, and, the magic whatever outlet it is that the gods will bless you financially, like cartoons or books or something like that. I think we need to get past that final step. At least I know I do, and that will be okay. I was talking to Loki last night, and I said, it's really not. I mean, we should still believe our gods take care of us, but we have this idea, this very Christian idea that's seeped into paganism that, that prosperity gospel. I said, we need to find a way to trust, yeah, but not have prosperity gospel, to not have this idea that the moment the gods have decided to take care of you, you will get X, Y, and Z as proof. That doesn't happen for the vast majority of people. Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes that person worked towards it. Sometimes they inherited it. And I think we'll have to sit down and have that conversation at some point. So that's been my mini TED talk that was supposed to just be, hey, go look at the community tab and let me know what you think. Be nice, be nice. It was like, I know pagans hear about Jesus and they knee jerk back. And so I think the gods are pushing for more content because they're like, you're the only pagan that will talk about this. It isn't, this would become just another flavor of Christianity channel. They're like, you're really the only pagan that we can get to do this. And I'm like, I'm sure there are others and you're just being nice to me, but okay. So, you guys let me know what you think. It's one of those things where, yeah, we'll still talk about all the other gods, but they're like, you are the only outlet for this, especially for the Jesus Loki combination that has nothing to do with Marvel Jesus or anything else that is Marvel Jesus, Marvel Loki. I knew I'd do that. I'd do that to the end of time. I'm getting cheering back there. But you guys let me know what you think. So that was a lot longer than I planned, but there you go. And I'm getting frustrated with myself because I have this vision of finally getting into a rhythm on this channel. I never do. It's just chaos in a bottle, but it is a Lokean channel, so there you go. So, you guys let us know what you think. And, I keep, thinking of all these ideas. I do have a billion ideas a day, but it just usually never go anywhere. Like stop motion Loki and Jesus movies that would have to be, I have no money. And it would have to be like two plush figures or something, and I don't have a plush Jesus, so it would have to be like the Bloody Christ figure and some kind of Loki figure, and it would be odd is what it would be. But you guys let us know. I don't even have a working camera that I could rely on for something like that. But you guys let us know what you think of everything. So if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye bye.